Hey everybody, how you doing? This is George Herrera.
And I'm Abigail Herrera.
We're a husband-wife team with the Queens Home Team at Keller Williams Realty. And today we're talking about closing costs, specifically seller closing costs in New York City, especially when you're selling real estate here in New York City. So here we're going to break down, right baby, all of the closing costs whenever you sell a property. Hopefully this helps you. We'll leave a link in the description also with a guide as well. So the first closing cost that you can expect when you sell a property in New York City is going to be your New York City transfer tax. The New York City transfer tax is 1% of the sale price for sales up to $500,000, and it's 1.425% of the sale price if the sale price is over $500,000. Okay, then you also have your New York State transfer tax, which is $4 for every $1,000 of the sale price, or you can just, it's 0.4%, right? So what you would do is if your home sells for $800,000, divide $800,000 by 1,000, multiply that times 4, and that's your New York State transfer tax, or you just do by 0.4%, right? So that might be complicated, but the link in the description, it'll break it down for you.
The next closing costs that you can expect are the brokerage fees. These are for real estate representation, and so you can expect anywhere from 4 to 6%. And that's broken between the listing agent compensation, which is representative of these sellers, and then the buyer's compensation, so the buyer's brokers.
Yeah.
And it's generally 2 to 3% depending on the total compensation.
On each side, right?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And the next closing cost is your seller's lawyer. So here in New York State, you do need to get a real estate lawyer representation. And so you can generally expect somewhere between $1,000 to $2,000.
Yeah, and this might vary in different boroughs, but at least in Queens, it's typically a flat fee, not hourly. So typically in Queens, you'll have flat fee for the real estate transaction, and it'll generally range between $1,000 and $2,000 or something around there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and so next you have the residential deed transfer. This is a smaller fee. It's just a $75 fee for the deed transfer. You also have the New York State equalization fee, which is another $75. Yeah.
Okay, and next you have your mortgage payoff. So if you do hold a mortgage with a bank, you want to request a payoff statement from your bank so you know the exact amount owed, or if you have an approximate amount, at least you can round that off during your appointment with your agent.
And also the title closer. So that's another one of your set fees, is paying off at the closing. A title closer will come and they get paid at the closing. Generally, we've seen between $300 and $500 usually for the title closer.
Now, if you're selling a condo, you can expect to add a processing fee for about $450 and up, as well as what's called a UCC filing fee, and that's about $100. And then there's also going to be miscellaneous condo charges. So you'll know more about the condo fees based on the condo that you own in.
Yeah.
So if you request a copy of the resale application, you can see exactly the breakdown of costs required by the condominium.
That's right. Yeah, and then for co-ops, if you're selling a co-op, you'll have all the same fees that we just spoke about, but you'll also have to add in your co-op's attorney. So generally when you sell a co-op, the seller pays for the co-op's attorney. That can range from $450 and up. You'll also have a UCC filing fee, just like with the condos. You might have a flip tax. Not all co-ops have a flip tax, but if yours does, that could be one of your closing costs. You'll have a stock transfer tax, which is 5 cents per share that you own. And
so
then
check your stock certificate so you can confirm the amount of shares that are transferred.
Yes, and then so that way you can calculate your stock transfer tax. You also might have a move-out deposit, which is usually refundable. It's just a deposit so that you don't damage anything when you move out. And you might have some other miscellaneous co-op charges. So you can check with your co-op on that.
Right. And then last but not least, you have some open liens, which you might have a tax lien, mechanic lien, etc., or perhaps any outstanding home equity loans.
Yeah.
As well, any New York capital gains if the seller lives out of state. And lastly, just capital gains taxes.
So those are all other, variable expenses. They won't be fixed, but they're things you should definitely keep in mind, that anything that's owed, any tax liens, anything like what Abby just mentioned, those would also be paid at the closing. If you live out of state and you sell a property in New York, you are expected to pay your New York State capital gains at the closing. So that's something important to keep in mind. And something important to know is that if you live in the home for 2 of the last 5 years, it's considered a primary residence, and you have the exemption up to $500,000 for a married couple, $250,000 for an individual. So that's something important to know, and you can research 1031 exchanges also if you want to defer any capital gains.
I think that's about it.
That's pretty much it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'll leave a link below to our website where it also breaks down all the closing costs in writing in case that helps. And if you need any assistance with valuing your property, getting a property prepared to sell, you can always reach out to us at our website, right?
queenshometeam.com/help.
And you can reach out to us anytime. We'd be happy to help in any way possible, okay? Thanks for tuning in today. Take care. Have a great day.
See you soon.